Welcome to Grief and Brief with Henry Ford Hospice. This is Peggy, and I am joined today by our wonderful program coordinator team. We have Miss Kelly, Miss Katie, Miss Linda, and Miss Charlie. And we are here to answer the most common questions that we get about camp from families who are interested in going. So today's going to be an overview about the beauty and wonder of camp from SandCastles. So just a brief introduction here. Camp is a weekend camp. It runs from Friday to Sunday. It starts around 2:45 with check-in on Friday for families, and we finish with a family picnic at lunchtime on Sunday. So it is an overnight, 2 nights, 3-day camp. We serve children who are coming into grades 2 through kids who have just graduated from high school, so class of 2026. And they are always, we're broken down into 3 separate age groups. So they go by color. We have a red group, a blue group, and a yellow group. The red group is usually the elementary kids from like 2nd to 5th. And the blue group is usually middle school, and the yellow group is usually high school. Kids are partnered together. There's usually about 8 or 9 kids in a group with 3 of our trained facilitators. Our trained facilitators come from a variety of different backgrounds. There are a good number of them who are counselors and social workers, but that's not a requirement to be a volunteer. To be a volunteer, you must attend our SandCastles facilitator training, which is a multi-night training to give them all the tips and tools, as well as then be in a mentorship role under an existing volunteer who's been there for a while, who can walk them through. So they are well trained and well supervised. We have 7 people going to camp this year. All of our staff, some of them have been there for a very long time. We actually even have a volunteer who's been with us since 1998, who is joining us again. She has amazing expertise, and we're happy to have her. So our volunteers stick around for a long time because this is a great, passionate, powerful project to work on, and we're happy to be doing it. So one other question that is sometimes asked is, are the kids supervised all the time around the clock? And at camp, yes, they are. We're at Camp Tamarack at Ortville. Our groups, when they are put together, the groups hang out for the entire weekend together with the facilitators. So they are always in groups. The kids aren't wandering off by themselves. So I'm going to pass it now to Charlie to talk about what the benefits are of camp.
Hey yo, this is Charlie. I'm one of the leaders of Red Group, which, if you can remember, that is the smaller group, the little group, ages 2nd grade to 5th. So one of the most common questions we get is, what are the benefits? Why, come to camp? What are we doing? So there's a lot of different answers to that, and I'm happy to talk to you guys today. One of the first things is just having a space where grief is very normalized and it's a safe space, right? If you're a kiddo and you're out in the world and you're in school or in these different places, you really might not always see other kids who have had a death, or sometimes maybe a similar death to yourself. And so when you're at camp, all of the kids who are there have had a significant death in their life. And so that's very normalizing. And we open up a space in order to have groups where kiddos can talk about their grief or talk about some of their experiences. And it's quite unique because there's not a lot of spaces for really anyone to do that, right? Adults or kiddos. So that's one of our big benefits. We also have a big educational component at camp. Understanding grief. What is grief? How does it rear its head, right? So I think even as adults, we might not know when our grief is surfacing, or you're like, oh, what was that about? Oh, I had a really strong emotion about that, and I'm not sure why. Because people might always kind of understand grief as sadness, or, that's kind of the common understanding of it. But grief is many different things and can present in many different ways. So we're able to kind of provide that education to what grief can look like and different ways to express that. I would also say with the younger groups, we teach about what death is because we understand with younger children, they might not have a concrete idea or example of what death is and how it's permanent and just different things around understanding the concept of death. Um, in line with understanding grief and identifying different emotions or experiences with grief, we teach about coping skills. Actually, all the kiddos who come to camp get coping kits when they leave. So the activities we're doing might be centered around different ways. Perhaps you can cope with your anger, or you can cope with feeling very sad or very down, and there's all different kinds of skills and tools and things that we give to kids and we try to coach. Um, and then also community. I touched on this a little bit earlier about how when you're coming to camp, you realize that everyone there at camp has had a significant death loss in their life. And so in that, the kids build their own natural community, right? We see kids who probably would have never met each other, going to different schools, live in different county. That is their BFF, that is their best friend. And, they just make these really strong connections and maintain that. We actually have a former camper who is now a volunteer in our program, and she still keeps in contact with campers that she knew when she was 12, and now she's in her mid 20s, right? And so that continues on and on in that connection. Um, and then lastly, but not least, is hope. When you are in the thick of your grief, sometimes it's hard to see that you can return to being well, or you can return to a time where maybe you laugh or you have a good time, or maybe you laugh and you don't feel guilty about it. So it's instilling that hope that it will not be the same, but there is that return to wellness and this idea that I am going to get through this, and things will get better, but it'll be different. So that's what I would say are our main benefits for camp.
All right. I am Kelly. Hello, everyone. I am one of the leaders of the Blue Group, which is those tween-ish aged kids. And one of the questions that we get a lot is the idea of a grief camp. And what does that look like, or what does that mean? Are we doing grief work for 3 straight days? Are we going to have some fun? So, some of the activities that we do at camp are definitely geared towards those grief experiences, the feelings and the coping, as Charlie shared. We do a memory board at camp, which allows campers the opportunity to recognize their person who has died by placing a photograph in a place that can be present throughout the weekend for them. We also do things like a memorial service where campers have the opportunity to set aside some dedicated time to honor their person, share their story in a way that feels good for them. We have labyrinth, beautiful labyrinth space that campers have the opportunity for taking a moment to slow down, uh, a little bit of connection and reflection time to connect with their person who died, and walk that beautiful path. So there are definitely those activities geared towards thinking about our person who died and our grief. There are also camp activities that are a lot of fun. Traditional camp activities like a campfire and definitely s'mores. Can't forget the s'mores. One of our key activities that campers always state as a favorite is their opportunity to be in the lake or the pool. to swim with their friends. Their new formed friends is always a great icebreaker. Kids just have such a great time in the beautiful lake and pool at Tamarack. Each group also has the opportunity to do some adventure challenges. We have things like high rope courses, zip line, rock wall. So each age group has the opportunity to do some fun adventure challenges like that. So there's definitely a mix of fun, and you'll see in our videos or our camper responses the laughter and the connection, and there is definitely a space for both the tears and the laughter and the joy and the connection.
Thank you, Kelly. That sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's dive into a little bit more on the details of what will be at camp, including what we're going to eat, if we have nurses, etc. So a big question, what do we eat at camp? Great question. Grief work does require good food and food that is good for the soul. So Camp Tamarack provides us with a delicious breakfast spread on Saturday and Sunday, typically with things like eggs, hash brown. I believe they even have yogurt sometimes. So that is always a great way to start that day. Breakfast is the most important meal, as they say. And then lunches and dinners are graciously provided by those that help sponsor those meals. And so in the past, we have had things like a hamburger cookout. We've enjoyed mastacholi, chicken fingers, mac and cheese, comfort food at its finest. So we got you covered in all areas of meals. And then for those of you that get a little peckish between meals, we do have snacks. Boy, do we have snacks at camp. Do not worry about that. We got you covered. Next, families are curious if we have medical staff on site at camp, and yes, we do. A shout out to Henry Ford Hospice and the amazing nurses that join us at camp. We want to make sure that everyone's needs are met, so in order to do that, we have one camp nurse in each color group to help make sure that campers are safe and well taken care of. We also have been asked if children will get the chance to meet some of the people that may be in their group at camp prior to attending camp, which is a great question as well. And the answer is yes. There are a couple ways that that can happen. So if you happen to enroll into one of our SandCastles sites prior to attending camp, I know we're kind of getting towards the end of it, but it's a possibility. Or maybe you already are enrolled at site. There are most likely some peers within your site group that could also be attending camp as well. So that's one way to meet some people that will be joining you at camp. And then we also have a couple of parent guardian meetings where families show up and then the kids get the opportunity to split into their age breakout groups and meet some of the others that will be in the same age group as them at camp. So that's another great way for them to start building those relationships before even getting to camp. And then we also get asked, what should we bring to camp? We will provide families with a comprehensive packing list at the parent guardian meeting, and that covers what we found to be helpful for campers to bring to camp with them. So things ranging from flashlights, pillows, of course we want a swimsuit. We do a lot of swimming. All we ask is that they just don't bring any electronics, and that includes phones. But other than that, we've got that pretty well thought out list that will tell you everything that you could possibly need when attending camp. And I'll go ahead and pass it on to Linda, who's going to share our what is one of the biggest takeaways, or a couple of the biggest takeaways that these campers will get from attending this amazing experience.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for all that information. I'm making me hungry just hearing what you're having at camp. Yes, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the takeaway from camp. This is an awesome, awesome weekend for the children and teens that come to our camp. There is so much growth that goes on throughout the whole weekend, and it is amazing to see when the children and teens step in for camp. Some are having a hard time being there and not wanting to leave, but by the end of the camp, they've made all those friendships, and it's hard for them to leave camp after knowing they're not alone in their grief. that others are going through a lot of the same things they are going through. And it was a whole weekend of being able to be with those people that could totally understand. Some of the other things that are a takeaway that we hear from the children and teens that come to camp, they've realized that it's okay to cry, that there's nothing wrong with crying about how they're feeling, and they are comforted and totally understood by what they're going through this whole entire weekend. They realize that it's okay to be sad. We give them those coping tools to help them when they're sad or they're getting frustrated or angry. So they walk away with a lot of tools to help themselves once they leave camp. And there's so much support that goes on through the whole weekend amongst themselves as children and teens, and with their facilitators and the staff that are there, and the nurses and everyone that's involved with the camp supports these young individuals through what they're going through in their grief. It's an amazing weekend, and I hope so many of you join this camp this year. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing. We are all excited to be putting this together once again. And having been there a few times, know the power of this experience for kids, and it is an honor to be able to do it. If you have any additional questions or we have a new camp video out that'll that you certainly get a visual of what we're talking about. We invite you to watch. And then if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to answer or support anything along the way. We are here for you and for the grieving families in our community, and working hard to create a safe space for healing. So thanks for joining us today. Let us know if we can help you in any way, and have a good one.